Yo, Joe, are you ready to fight for freedom over land and air? If so, then you're ready for G.I. Joe Special Missions, issue number 5. I was going in order, but I jumped ahead one because look at it. I'm a sucker for the jet issues, like G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero number 34, but this one's got the Cobra Nightraven, not the Rattler. So it's a different book. This one's not as good, but hang in there because it's still a worthy read, and you should add this to your 1980s comic collection at once from June of 1987. It's a great intro page. Showdown! I love the cover. Cobra Nightraven blowing up the Sky Striker. Ace is ejecting because we can't lose Ace. Ace is too important. My camera just moved. That's how important Ace is. Even the camera cares. There's a close-up of the Nightraven. It was one of my favorite G.I. Joe toys. I was fortunate to have the Nightraven and the hydrofoil. The hydrofoil. I can't speak. The Cobra hydrofoil. Two of my favorites. The Nightraven came with the Strato-Viper, who's the specially enhanced Cobra pilot. Like, no normal Cobra soldier could pilot the Nightraven. The Strato-Viper was, like, modified somehow. Genetically, I don't know. They maybe his brain was made of plastic. Somehow the guy was modified to withstand, like, 1,000 G-force or something like that. Anyway, he's a real asshole, so keep that in mind, because it plays into the storyline here. As it starts off with the Nightraven, a bunch of the Cobra ground crew is admiring it. But they got too close, and here's the Strato-Viper, who's a jerk, and he treats his ground crew poorly. Now keep that in mind, because there's a life lesson here in this G.I. Joe issue of Special Missions. It's a great shot there. It's got a real Top Gun influence, which of course I appreciate. Who doesn't appreciate Top Gun? Cobra, maybe. Maybe Cobra's the bad guys, but I think even they appreciate Top Gun. All right, now here's the G.I. Joe X-30, the one with the backwards wings. I had that one too. Never had a Sky Striker, but I had the X-30. I think it was way cheaper. Anyway, the X-30 came with Slipstream, if I'm not mistaken. Sky Striker came with Ace. Slipstream is the main character in this issue, but pay attention to this. All right, this is very important because remember, just a few moments ago, like 2 pages ago, the Strato-Viper was treating the Cobra ground crew like dirt and berating them and kicked the one guy in the head. Slipstream hands the G.I. Joe ground crew a transformer because it's his son's birthday or something, or he's in the hospital. Anyway, the Joes treat their ground crew with respect, and that plays an important role later in the book. But pay attention to this part here, because Slipstream gets the guy a transformer and says it's Jetfire, but does that look like Jetfire to you? No. That's clearly Megatron. It's like they changed the wording afterwards. Maybe Jetfire was just released. Jetfire is pretty awesome. Kind of like a Veritech fighter that turns into a transformer, right? All right, so let's get to the storyline here. The Strato-Viper is doing strategic reconnaissance over Florida, and for some reason, the Joes don't just shoot him down automatically. I don't understand that part at all. It makes no sense. They're like, don't fire until fired upon, right? This is Cobra. Aren't they battling like the entire way? It's all they do. G.I. Joe fights Cobra. It's like Tom chasing Jerry. It's the same. Hey, Galaxy Rangers. In order to get the Strato-Viper to shoot at the Joes, Ace flies in front of him and he's flying like a jerk and waggling his jet tail. And obviously, Cobra shoots him in the ass. Have you not met Cobra before? Ace, you're one of the oldest characters. You should know this. They're gonna shoot at you. But now the conflict is on in the shadow of the Thrashin' advertisement because it's the 80s. And to make a long story short here, we get some pretty good air combat. A battle between Slipstream and the Strato-Viper for the most part since Ace was shot down. And the Joe crew comes out to save Ace because the G.I. Joe team treats their ground crew with respect. And you can probably imagine what happens to the Strato-Viper. But I do want you to pay attention to the artwork here as well. It's really nice. This one is done by, if I'm not mistaken, Herb Trimpe, I always call him. When I'm inserting all this stuff into their website. Herb Trimpe. He did a lot of work on the Transformers series, too. So you'd think Herb would know which Transformer was which, right? I want to point out this shot in particular. I do like that one. Also, did you guys catch the obvious Top Gun reference earlier in the book? Did I point? I didn't point that out here. Look, they fly inverted, but he's not giving him the finger, though it is well illustrated. Not as good as issue 34, but not, you know, it's like comparing everything to issue G.I. Joe 21. G.I. Joe 21 wins every time, just like Snake Eyes. And there's a big life lesson in this particular issue, which is treat your ground crew with respect, because otherwise, I'm not going to give away the ending, but otherwise, it may come back to haunt you if you kick your ground crew in the head. So, I think I need to give a special salute to the G.I. Joe ground crew to make sure that they keep the Joes safe over land and air. I think it's time that we crack a beer while reviewing G.I. Joe comic books. But just in case we spill a little bit, I got to cover the G.I. Joe special missions, which is precious. I got to cover this with something far less important. Got just the thing. Do we really care if a bunch of Ewoks drown in beer? We don't. Be a good thing. Cheers to you, G.I. Joe. Fighting for... I should have kept that comic book there. Now I'm nervous. Being really careful. It's okay. I've got experience. Drinking beer for freedom over land and air has never tasted so good. G.I. Joe Special Missions, issue number 5. What's on the back cover? I forgot to look. Laser tag! I loved laser tag. Everybody loved laser tag. For that short time when laser tag was a thing, it was a great thing. Running around the yard trying to shoot each other, never hitting each other, but still having fun attempting, because you could just like turn your back on them or whatever. Cover it with your hand. No, you didn't hit me, even though you're standing like 3 feet away. 80scomics.com. This one is highly recommended for fans of G.I. Joe and the cool vehicles like the Nightraven, the Sky Striker. We had a G.I. Joe Tomahawk sighting in there. And the X-30 to freedom over land and air. Yeah, freedom goes down smooth. Fucking Ewoks.